What's up everybody and welcome. In this series of videos we're going to go through all the basics that you need to know in order to get started with the MINDSTORMS EV3. In this video we're going to go through the basic layout of the MINDSTORMS EV3 programmable brick. I'm just going to refer to it as the brick. And after that we're going to take a look at the basic layout of the MINDSTORMS EV3 software. My name is Trevor, let's get to it. Alright, here we have the EV3 brick. The first thing we want to do is turn it on. We can do so by pressing that middle button and the brick should turn red. It'll do this for about 30 to 40 seconds before it turns on. Alright, now that our brick is turned on, we can go over the basic layout. We have the navigation keys right over here, up, down, left and right. The select button is the middle button, the same one we used to turn it on. The back button is right over here underneath the screen. It is currently on the quick play menu, and this will display a list of all the programs that have been played on this EV3. If we go right one, you will see it goes to the project folder menu. Now this will display a list of programs that you have downloaded to the EV3 brick. If we go right once more, we are now in the hamburger section. And this section is quite useful because we can see what is plugged into our EV3 brick and we can test some motors if we want. We can also program from our brick or log some data. If we go right one more time, this is now the settings tab. You can see volume, sleep, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi or brick name. Volume is pretty straightforward. It just changes the volume on the actual brick. The sleep function is very useful. It is currently set to turn off after 30 minutes of inactivity. I can go into it and change it to whatever I want. I can turn the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi on and off from here. And if I scroll a little bit further down, you can see there is the brick info as well. If I go into there, it'll tell me the brick hardware version, as well as the firmware version and the ID. So that is on the face of the brick. Now we're going to move on to the brick ports. If I tilt the brick up like this, you will see ports A to D and a PC port. We're going to plug in any and all motors we want to use with our EV3 brick into ports A through D. We will use the PC port to connect our EV3 brick to the laptop. If I swing the brick around, you will now see we have ports 1 to 4. In these ports we will plug in any and all sensors that we want to use with the EV3 brick. We will go through these sensors a little bit later once we started programming. That's all for the basics of the brick. Now we're going to hop on over to the software to check that out. So here we have the Ev3 Mindstorms software. As you open up the software, you will arrive at the lobby. On the left over here, you can see a panel. There are a couple different options on the left panel over here. It'll guide you through the getting started process, opening up a new project, tutorials, and some building instructions. There is also some downloadable content on engineering, space challenges, and science. However, the quickest way for us to get started is for us to go right to the top over here, next to lobby, and click that little plus button. This will open up a new project for us to get started. You can see that a new tab has opened up called Project. Just below that is another tab called Program. In a project you can have multiple programs. The first thing we're going to do is rename our project to something recognizable. To save our program as a specific name, we're going to hit File, Save Project As, and enter our name. You'll see now that the name of the project has changed to whatever we've renamed it to. I can change the name of the program as well quite easily by just double clicking on it and renaming it to what I want. I'm going to rename this to Basic Move, as this is what we're going to be going through in the next video. This big white open space that already has a play block in it is the programming area. This is where we are going to drag all of our programming blocks to get our robot to do what we want. In this bottom section over here, you can see there are a couple different colored tabs. All of these tabs refer to different kinds of programming blocks. The green, for instance, if we hover our mouse over it, says action. There are motor movement blocks, display blocks, sound blocks, and light blocks. So these make our robot perform a specific action. If I click on the orange one, it says flow control. Inside of here, we have specific programming blocks to allow us to control our program in certain ways. Inside of here, we have the play button, which we already have on our screen, waiting blocks, loops, and switches, which are kind of like conditional statements. Right at the end, we have a loop interrupt. In the yellow section, which is sensors, we're not going to be using many of these in this series of videos. The red section is data operations. Again, we're not going to be using many of these, nor the dark blue section, but we will be using this last section, my blocks. If you go into it, you will see that it is blank for now. This is where we are going to be able to create our own custom blocks. Moving along, we come to this bottom right hand section over here. This section will give me all the information I need relating to the brick. As you can see, there is no brick connected at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in my Ev3 brick to the laptop with the cable. Now that my brick is plugged in, you can see it pop up on the screen, and it is connected via USB. I can also connect to it via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. I'm going to leave it connected to USB for the remainder of these videos. This screen pops up under the Available Bricks tab over here. If there are any other available bricks, they'll also pop up over here. The second tab over here is Port View. I'm going to click on that. You will see ports A to D and ports 1 to 4. If there are any motors or sensors plugged into this, they will pop up over here and give you a live reading. The last tab is the brick information. I can rename it over here. If I rename it here, it will auto-update the next time I download a program to the brick. To the right of that is the battery level of the Ev3. It'll show the firmware version, the connection type, and how much space is available on the brick. The programs that we download to the brick are actually really tiny. The total internal space on the brick is about 16 megabytes. That shows you how small the programs are. Then we have this little section on the extreme bottom right. There is a little Ev3 icon. Just underneath that is the download button. If we click on that, it'll take everything we've programmed in our big area over here, download it to the brick. We can then find our program on our brick and run it. If we hover our mouse over the second button, it'll say download and run. What this does is it downloads everything we've programmed in our area over here and runs it instantaneously. That last one says run selected, and if there is a section of code in the middle of your program that you want to test, you would select only the blocks that you want to test and click this button. Only that section of code will get run. That's all for now. See you on the next one.